As priests, there are two homilies that we get a little nervous about. The first one is Trinity Sunday. It seems like no matter how much you know about the Trinity, it's always realized you don't know anything at all. And the second homily you get nervous about is a stewardship homily, which today is a stewardship homily. So there you go. Maybe that's why the crowd's a little smaller. I don't know. They knew about it, I guess. But really, there should be nothing to be nervous about when it comes to a stewardship homily, because all I'm asking is for the parishioners, and from the parishioners, is to be generous with the gifts that God has given us as a parish. Of course, everything that you give goes to support this parish. And as we talked about yesterday, after seeing the video, not yesterday, last week, of seeing the video, is our parish is fairly amazing, I believe. We're a parish which is prayerful, a parish which is open, a parish which is generous. And this is most explicitly seen in you and us, the parishioners. Prayerful, open, and generous. And when you are giving to this parish, to this ministry, what you are doing is you're saying, I support this parish, and I want to continue to see it grow and thrive and be a place where people, fellow parishioners, can encounter Christ. The reason we chose this weekend for the homily was I believe that this gospel is amazingly beautiful. Two reasons we chose it. Number one, the year of mercy, which we're wrapping up here in about a month. And two, to see what happens when there's a place for someone to encounter Christ. Of course, today we have this very popular story of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus is only referenced, though, by the way, in Luke's gospel. Zacchaeus was a tax collector in the town of Jericho. Where is Jericho? Jericho is on the bottom of the mountain on the way up to Jerusalem. When you get to Jericho, you know you're almost there. You're finally to Jerusalem. And this is why Jesus states, at least Luke's gospel states, that Jesus intended to pass through the town without stopping. Why stop in Jericho when Jerusalem, my final destiny, is right there? I'm going to continue to go. But there's a man named Zacchaeus there. Once again, what do we know about him? We know that he is a tax collector. We know that he is wealthy. And we know that he's short in stature, which may be the only time in the gospel someone's called short. And Zacchaeus is that one. And he hears that Jesus is passing through the town. And he wants to see him. But there's a crowd. And so he wonders, how can I see him? So he runs ahead and he finds a sycamore tree. And he climbs up this sycamore tree to see him. By the way, a sycamore tree is very easy to climb. There still is a couple sycamore trees in Jericho. Supposedly, there's from Jesus' time, you can buy the birch from it. Don't do it, the bark. Don't do it. It's a ripoff. Just talking from personal experience. All right? But I did realize you can climb that tree. They don't allow you, there's ropes around it, right? But it's a very easy tree to climb. And so that's what Zacchaeus does. He climbs this tree. And it's beautiful how the gospel describes it. It does not say that Zacchaeus saw Jesus, but rather it states, and Jesus saw Zacchaeus. Jesus looked up and said, Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for today I must stay at your house. Imagine the surprise of Zacchaeus. Me? You want to stay at my house? I'm a sinner. I'm one of the biggest sinners in town. I'm a public sinner. Zacchaeus, come down quickly, for today I must stay at your house. And he came down quickly, and it's amazing, it states, and he received him with joy. Well, who received who with joy? Was it Zacchaeus receiving Jesus with joy? Was it Jesus receiving Zacchaeus with joy? It doesn't matter. They both received each other with joy. This communion of love together. How amazing. But when all saw this, what did they do? They began to grumble. In modern day times, it would sound like this. Really? You're going to stay with Zacchaeus? Seriously? You get on your cell phone and start texting. Can you believe what that Jesus is doing? He's staying with who? Doesn't he know who he is? Not that we ever do that here in modern times, gossip at all. But this is what they were doing. They were grumbling. He has gone to stay at the house of a sinner. But Zacchaeus stood there and said so beautifully to the Lord, half of my possessions I give to the poor. And if I exhorted anyone of anything, I would repay it 4 times over. We see the conversion with Zacchaeus. We see that he finally has found what he is searching for. He has all the wealth that he needs, but that didn't fulfill him. He has prestige. He is the chief tax collector in Jericho, not a small town. This is not a petty position. This is big. He was an important person, even though he was short in stature. He was important. But that didn't fulfill him. It's when he encountered Christ that all of a sudden it clicked and he says, I have my fulfillment. I've encountered God. My life is changed and I am converted. And what does Jesus say? I like to paraphrase this. What does Jesus say? He says, yes. Yes. He sings, Alleluia. Once you were lost, now you've been found. What does he really say? Of course, we can read this as well because it's beautiful as well, but I like that yes statement. Today salvation has come to this house because the Son, this man too is a descendant of Abraham. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what was lost. To seek out into the world and save what was lost. And Zacchaeus was lost, and now he has been found. And of course, we know the story of Zacchaeus is also a story of each and every one of us as well. That we too are called by God. Bob, Betty, Jim, Joan, come down from the tree quickly, for today I must stay at your house. Come down, let me in. I want to be with you. And I believe that this sycamore tree that Zacchaeus climbed up and let him see Christ. And this is what our parish is as well. This sycamore tree. That in this world of darkness, in this world where it is so hard to see clarity, when we come to St. John the Baptist, what we are able to do is to see God and him to see us more clearly. For us to come here day after day, week after week, year after year, and climb up and say, God, here I am. I want to see you. I want to encounter you because you are my fulfillment. And this is what our parish does. What is any parish? What is their main goal? What is their mission? It's for the salvation of souls. That's what we exist for. Is there anything better in the world than salvation of souls? No. This is the ultimate prize. This is the pearl of great price. And it is my hope that when you come here and other parishioners come here, they are able to seek out Jesus and encounter him and have this continual conversion. How is this seen? Of course, at Mass. It's seen in the Adoration Chapel. It's seen in our classrooms with faith formation in school. It's seen with our adult faith formation. It's seen in weddings and in funerals. It's seen by people just passing by. This past month, I've had a couple individuals who have shown up at daily Mass, and you could tell right away they weren't from here. They weren't Catholic. But I was able to talk to them after Mass, introduce myself, and other parishioners did as well, which is always a good thing. Please always be welcoming. And talking to these visitors, I said, what brings you here? And they said, we were just passing by the road, and we saw cars in the parking lot. We wanted to stop by and see what was going on. You could tell that they were searching for Christ. They're coming here in the same way that Zacchaeus climbed the tree, looking for God. This is what our parish is, a place where we can encounter Christ. Of course, we know if this parish wasn't here, there's other parishes around. There's other good parishes around. But you know what they're not? They're not our parish. They're not St. John the Baptist. This is your parish. And when we support it, and when we give to it, we are saying, I truly believe in the mission of this parish. I believe that I can encounter Christ here. That when I come here, my life is transformed, just like Zacchaeus' life. That I don't have to seek out as much, but that I am rather being fulfilled. And so we give in a selfish way so that we may continue to come here. But we give in a selfless way as well so that others may continue to come here as well. So that this may be their sycamore tree where they can encounter Christ. And this, of course, is why we give. So we may continue the mission of this great parish. I recently went on a conference with other young pastors. We jokingly called it Baby Pastor School, which was weird because I was one of the oldest pastors there. Well, that's very weird, by the way. But in there, we had a discussion, a talk, a class, you could say, on stewardship. And the speaker is a well-known speaker who goes around the country giving talks on stewardship. But I was struck by one line in particular. He said, in giving to your parish and stewardship, what you are doing is an act of ministry. So often we think of ministry as giving of time and talent, which is so important and beautiful. How beautiful is it this morning? These children are doing ministry, singing at our Mass. We have practiced 2 weeks in a row, even over MEA break, with smiles on their face. How we have countless servers, how we have lectors, how last week we saw a video with parishioners who have come and given their time to be interviewed, and the parishioners who put it together in all of our stewardship materials. How beautiful is it last night that at 2 o'clock in the morning we still are putting together the new office furniture that was donated here. This is time and talent, and this is part of our ministry. But another part of our ministry is taking the gifts that God has given us and giving to our parish as well, so we may continue the mission of this parish. It's an act of ministry. It should be a prayerful sacrifice that you and your family come to and say, what can we give this year? And in pledging for the stewardship drive of 2017, you enable us as a parish to come together and say, these are the areas that we can support this year. These are the ministries we can expand or add on to, whatever it may be. Matthew Kelly has a great recommendation for stewardship. He goes, maybe your family wants to be a 10% tithing family. By the way, the average Catholic is 1.1%. The average Protestant is 2.2%. Seventh-day Advent is 7%. Tithing in the Bible, we say, is about 10%. So maybe your family wants to get to 10% or beyond. He says, don't try to do it all at once. That'd be way too hard. But maybe add 1% a year. You'll feel it. There's no question about it. But add that percent till you get where you want to. And then maybe continue to add after that, whatever it may be. But it's this act of ministry, saying, I am giving because I want to support this parish, which means so much to me and others as well. That's why we give. That's why we pledge. That's why we partake in this ministry of giving. And this year, once again, we ask you to prayerfully consider your stewardship gift. At this time, I ask you please take an envelope at the end of the pew. It's the same envelope we've used the last 3 or 4 years, except it's one thing changed. It says 2017 instead of 2016. All right? And on this envelope, it has just an opportunity for you to list your name, and your address, your email, and the annual gift that maybe you want to give this year. Of course, this came in the mail as well for all registered parishioners. If you didn't give them the mail and you want those materials, they're in the back of the church as well. But in pledging, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to commit to this for the upcoming year because I want to support this parish. It means so much to me and to my family, and I want others to experience it as well. So give me some time to prayerfully consider filling this out. I always want to highlight electronic giving makes it so much easier. I don't know about you. I have no idea where my checkbook is, so I do electronic giving. It's a lot easier that way. It just seems to go out of the checking account, and there's always enough money in there somehow, which is always good. But to look at electronic giving, whatever it may be, and to prayerfully consider this. I want to thank you not necessarily as your pastor for filling this out. I want to thank you as your fellow parishioner. It's my 4th year here now at St. John's, and Obviously, I'm the pastor, I get that, but I'm also a parishioner. And because of your support, we're able to continue all these different ministries. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to. Your gift means that much. So thank you from a fellow parishioner and from all your parishioners for prayerfully considering your 2017 stewardship gift.